For those of you that haven't seen the videos, there's a link in the description of this video. You can go and see them if you want to. I'll give you a quick recap. I wanted to get better quality water inside me. I know how important it is to get rid of toxins in the body, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I was drinking filtered water, but I'd realised that it wasn't particularly good filtered water. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some amazing filters on the market. They do rely on you keeping the filters in clean condition or replace them, which for me, and the fact that they don't give you the lowest total dissolved solids, which is a measure of its purity, if you will, compared to distilled water, I decided that distilled water was the way to go for me. I did some digging around, and one of the subscribers actually mentioned MakeWaterPure was a good make, and the reason they bought it was because it was a good price. It was faster than the others on the market in that it can do 4 litres in about 3.5 hours versus 5.5 hours. They have great customer service, and if something goes wrong out of warranty period, they will sell you the components that have failed rather than the whole unit, which was good enough for me. So we bought that unit. By the way, it arrived really quickly. When we first ran it through, this is a residue that was left, and it smelled of chemicals, and I was nauseated by the thought of that being in the water. I then decided to stop it early on the next run through to see what the liquid looked like and smelled like, and maybe that was a mistake because it was vile. And again, the very strong smell of chemicals. But that was good enough for me. Now, the reason that the negative charge is really important is because inorganic materials that are stored inside you and inside me have a positive charge. So if you get something that goes through with a negative charge, it will pull the positive charge stuff away. It's actually like a giant vacuum or a giant magnet, which is really what it is. Now, the key is, it's not just that the negative charge is important, it is, but it's also the amount of volume, or the volume of the water that you take in. If you think of a dried up riverbed with lots of debris in it, nothing's really going to happen if you pour a little bit of water through. But if you get a large volume of water, create a torrent, then that water can do a good trick. Now, on the subject of toxins, we get sick because we take toxins into our body and they have to be released. And if we keep toxifying ourselves, we have a problem. So what happens in your body, from what I've studied and understood, is that you take toxins in and your body tries to get rid of the toxins, but there's only so much toxicity that it can process out in a given moment. If you're taking in more than it can push back out, in order to keep you alive, it has to store that somewhere that's going to do the least amount of damage at the expense of your longevity. So if you continue down that track of taking more in than is pushed back out, eventually this will result in health issues and health crises, and in the end, the outcome of all that over a potentially long period of time, depending on the severity of the toxicity, is death of the organism. So our job, my job in my life, is to get the toxins out as best I can, which is where the distilled water comes in. So if you drink a lot, like a gallon or more, that's for someone of my size, and I've been drinking about 6 litres a day now, and that transition from drinking about 3 to 6 has been very, very interesting in terms of energy level and vibrance and clarity of thought and everything. But that will create this literal river that will run through you, and it will start to dissolve all the toxins in your body. So all the stuff that's in the nerves, it's around all the joints, it's in the blood and lymphatic system, it's stored all over the place, and your pineal gland, which in most people is calcified, and that's the gateway to the higher dimensions, if you will. And it's hugely important that that opens up, hugely important. And I've read story after story after story of amazing transitions in people's lives just because they were drinking a lot of distilled water. I've read stories where people wore glasses for 40 years, all of a sudden not needing glasses. Pets that were 15 years old, and when they went for a checkup, they came back and the vet said, "What have you done to your animal?" Because it's got the liver and kidney function of a 4-year-old dog, that was. People who no longer have arthritis, people whose hair's grown back, hair colors come back, joint flexibility's gone, you name it, all sorts of things have happened because what they're doing is getting rid of all the toxins, and the toxins are the cause of the disease, which is the symptom. So I got really excited when I was reading that, which is why I increased the amount of water I was taking in. That also led me to find a lot of information, and I read several books. I found 8 documents and books. I've read 4 of them so far. They've been very interesting. I also found about 70 odd quotes from health professionals, researchers and stuff that were talking about why you should drink distilled water. So what I've done is I put all that onto a blog page, the 74, which will be in the description. You can go and have a look at that if you want. I've also, the books I found, I've uploaded them as PDFs to my blog as well. So there's a link in the description of this video so you can go and have a look at those, read them online or download them if you're interested in that subject. Now, also on the subject, I talked about sea salt and demineralization. I didn't actually talk about sea salt, I did in the other videos. Demineralization, if you search for distilled water, quite often you'll come across stories on Google and it'll talk about it will demineralize you or kill you and all the rest of it. And they're right and they're wrong. They're right in as much as it will demineralize you because the things that are inorganic that shouldn't be in you are positively charged and it will pull them out. But they won't take out the organic minerals which are already in your cells. It doesn't work that way at all. And it's good to get the inorganic material out. So, you know, the inorganic material can be in the air you breathe, it can be in the water you drink, mineral water, tap water, all the rest of it. You want to get that all out of your system. And now I thought, and I did in the other videos, I mentioned that if you're worried about demineralizations, you could have sea salt. And for about 2 decades, I thought sea salt was the thing. I thought it was the be-all, the end-all. And having done some more digging on the subject, I'm going to have to make a U-turn on that, certainly from my view, because I realised that it's all inorganic minerals and are therefore not bioavailable. The only way that I think we should get vitamins and minerals is from our food, particularly the raw plants and the vegetables, because it's in bioavailable format, which is what you want. Otherwise, you're just clogging the system up with more stuff. So I've done an about turn on that in my book, and all the people who've bought the book have had an update on that as well, and on the distilled water, the increased information I've got available. I just wanted to share that with you. I've also found 3 articles which talk about that, and these are some of the articles I read which got me thinking that actually maybe I've been looking at this completely the wrong way. And as with many things today, I think we've been grossly misled on many subjects, and we're just uncovering where we should be going. So the idea of drinking a large volume of water that's distilled because of the negative charge and not taking sea salt really are the 2 subjects I wanted to cover in this video. I've done an affiliate deal with MakeWaterPure. If you want to order from them, there is an affiliate link in the description of this video. It won't cost you a penny more. It will give me some pennies if you buy one. You can buy any distiller you want if you choose to go that route. Obviously, if you want to buy that one, I think it's good, which is why I bought it. My family have got it. And I would also love to hear your stories, success stories, things that have improved for you. It does take a while because you've got to flush all this stuff out. And one of the most important things it will do, by the way, is it will turn your pineal gland from a frozen rock back into what it should be, full of vibrancy and life, and that will change everything. So with that in mind, you guys are absolutely amazing. It's always a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you for all your support, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.